Welcome back to Kicking It with the TSK. This is episode 5. This is the boys. This is Kicking It, as we can see. I'm not going to do a lovely intro because this isn't about the TSK today. This is a remembrance. This is a remembrance of a man who has been taken from us way too early. And if this show was around when Brody Lee went down, we would have been around here doing the same exact thing. But we are here to pay our respects to the man they call Jay Briscoe. I'm honestly looking for his real name right now. What was his real name?
Damon Pugh.
Thank you so much. I didn't want to butcher it, so that's the real reason why I didn't say it. But we're honest. This is honestly just a good old fashioned honoring of him. There was an opening graphic for him on AEW last night or tonight. There was spoken word from the commentators on NXT on Tuesday, and it's literally been the talk of professional wrestling because it is a guy who was taken way too early from us in a deadly car accident, just driving down the street. Granted, he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, but unfortunately, him and the other driver did pass away. And it's one of those things where it's, everything was fine yesterday. And now we're here. So, go ahead, DC. I was going to say, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and drop a second and just handle it.
To me, this is since every so often, we've all experienced the loss of, great professional wrestlers. And to me, not since Brody passing, because this is just so out of left field. I think, Harold, you were the one that posted it in the Discord yesterday. And I remember looking at it and reading it. And I'm thinking, the hell? It made no sense. And to me, Rob, I know you can vouch for it because, we're the old bastards here. 39 years old. That's just a couple years older than me. I've got a brother that just turned 39 this past Friday. And he was so young.
I mean, the guy was getting ready to turn 39. His birthday was coming up a little bit of a week from now, I think.
Yeah, his birthday is actually 22nd. Yeah, next Wednesday.
25th. So.
And his brother's birthday was today.
Yeah.
It hurts, bros. It hurts.
Just initially seeing that post, Tony Khan was the first one to make the post about it. And, I was the one initially who put it in the Discord group. And I literally had to take a couple times to read it to actually process what the tweet actually said. And even still, when I woke up this morning and checked my phone, I thought it was a dream. And unfortunately it wasn't. Just kind of really just seeing everybody in the outpouring of support. No matter what 3 letters you work for, everybody had something good to say about Jay.
Yep.
Even places even companies he never stepped foot in. The NXT bit last night, that was really a nice touch.
Call it Sean pulling an audible or whatever, but it showed huge respect for just as a wrestling community. That's the thing that I think we're not emphasizing enough. This is a wrestling community loss. You know what I mean? From the fans to the workers to the refs to the guys in the back, everybody in between, the families of the workers. This hit home in a hard way.
Agreed.
It's just cool just to see all the stories, from everybody from Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn, probably 2 of the top guys in the industry right now.
Guys you didn't think of.
Yeah, saying that, if it wasn't for Jay, man, they wouldn't have been where they are. To, somebody like Nick Wayne, who's, still brand new. Even Nick had something good to say about him, It's a trip.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of people that you didn't expect to really have anything to say.
Yeah.
In the situation, are speaking up, are saying things, are giving stories of their experiences with Jay Briscoe. So it is great to see. Sometimes it's sad to see that it took this for us to hear from certain people how they feel about other people, but I'm glad it's being said.
Yeah, it
Agreed.
does suck that
I
it comes to
just-
these circumstances, but the fact that it's being said is enough.
I personally wish these types of stories, because we've heard them, same thing with Brody Lee, and then same thing with this. We're hearing all these stories, and I just wish a lot of these talents would give these stories to the public before the deaths.
Yeah.
So more people can really see how great these different wrestlers are outside of the wrestling world. Not saying that they're forced to or they have to or anything like that, but it always sucks when you lose somebody and you go, that was such a good story, you know. I don't really, you know, how much do I remember of it, or do I have any pictures or anything? You know what I mean? It's just, I feel like there should be so many stories told, road stories to backstage fun to we went to dinner and this happened, you know, the stupid shit with all these talents. And it's like, I feel like that needs to come out more, not just based on this death, but like just every day. You know what I mean? Because
there's so much there's so much inflammatory stuff that comes out day to day.
Every day. It's so negative every single day.
Well, see, that's the thing. And, you know, I love how you guys are bringing it up. That's the thing that's negative. This is the only sport where there's not like friendships with the rival team. Oh, hey, you know, he's a Raider, but I'm in charge. Well, I don't give a shit. We've been friends since college. We've been friends since high. And they don't give it. There's, I mean, yes, there's the rivalry because it's, you know, that's sports and that's how it goes. But there's still friendships. And we know why that there's not these posts about these guys going on. You know, it's a social media contract nonsense or all the blah, 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 blah. And it honest to God, it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
100%. It seems like social media, though, is the one place where you can kind of give more leniency.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously you can't talk about it in the ring, whereas like it's mostly, I think, WWE guys. And I'm not trying to bash WWE at all, but it's mostly they have more of that restriction as we're seeing, like MJF mentioning WWE guys. But I really think like those stories just need to come out. Whether that's something as a story, whether this is like a show type thing, like stupid backstage moments or whatever. And I don't know. I just feel like with the amount of negativity that we see on the regular, like this would be a great opportunity to just shed light into the wrestling world before the next, because there's going to be a next, and I hate to be this person to say it, but there's going to be a next. You know, it could be somebody really old. It could be, you know, a Jay Briscoe, a Brody Lee, somebody really young that's just fucked up shit. But just don't wait till that time to start talking about those stories. Talk about the stories today. Get on Twitter and Instagram and whatever, and put the phone right here and just talk. You know what I mean? Mention your stories.
To kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, Kyle, I think honestly it goes, at least in my opinion, beyond wrestling. Like it's life in general. Like if you got, and I would say this to anybody, like, if you got people in your life, friends, family, whatever, like if you got people in your life that you care about and that you fucking love, tell them. Tell your people what they mean to you. Don't wait until, you know, they're dying or they're dead. Tell them now. Like
Harold with a cheap plug there.
Yeah.
We love you, Paulette. See you later.
Yeah, Paulette.
It's life. You know, tell people you love them.
That's right. We love you, Paulette.
Life's too short.
Absolutely.
It is. Like, don't hold on to negativity. It's, you know, to paraphrase the great movie American History X, you know, there's a line towards the end. It says, life, you know, hate is baggage. Life's too short to be pissed off all the time.
Heard that.
Yep.
Tell your people you love them.
Yeah. It was just cool seeing all the stories. You know, I started to kind of think about my first time I saw the Briscoes. And lucky enough, my first experience with them was the Briscoes and the Young Bucks in 2016 at Hammerstein Ballroom. What a match to be introduced to a tag team. Realistically, both of those tag teams, that was the first time I really kind of got into both of those tag teams. And, you know, I was just coming back into wrestling. I you know, was nursing a broken tendon in my leg, and so I was bedridden for a couple months. So I need something to do. So I figured, hey, what the hell? I'll catch up on some wrestling. So first thing I went to YouTube, and I got a hold of this Young Bucks and Briscoes little clips or whatever, and I ended up finding the match, and just I was just beside myself for what I saw, because I hadn't watched any wrestling in 10, 12 years, and this was one of the first things I seen, and it was just like, holy crap, what else have I been missing? So that caused me to go back even further and look. But the Young Bucks and the Briscoe, man, what a way to be introduced to two tag teams that are absolutely killing the game right now.
Facts.
When I was younger, the first time that I ever saw Jay Briscoe, it was like early days of Ring of Honor. I think he was maybe 18, 19 years old, and Mark couldn't even legally wrestle yet. So he would just be kind of like a manager. He wrestled Amazing Red.
Oh wow, what a match!
Great match there.
Oh yeah. And then, I knew who he was, but the match that really kind of made me look and just say, okay, this guy's somebody. It was a steel cage match, Samoa Joe versus Jay Briscoe.
Oof.
And I'll tell you, I'm a Samoa Joe mark. I have been since the TNA days. And to see what he did with Jay Briscoe, who is primarily a tag guy. Some guys, that's what they are. They're tag team guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being just a tag guy.
Right.
Jay Briscoe, and I hate to say it, but I hate to say was. I fucking hate it. But Jay Briscoe was one of those guys. He could do tag teams. He could do trios. He could do singles. He was so multifaceted. He could do the comedy thing. He could make you laugh.
Absolutely.
And he could put the fear of God into you.
He had a very dynamic personality when he was in the ring. It was very different. I don't personally remember the very first time that I ever watched the Briscoes. I can't remember right off the top of my head. I can remember a lot of their great feuds. The Bucks, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. I mean, it's just super talented tag team. Top 5 for me. They've been in my top 5 for a long time. And fuck. It's terrible. So obviously so unexpected. I mean, something like this is ridiculous, and
you think of great tag teams that have never competed in the WWE. If they are not at the top of your fucking list,
as far as I've never been in there. It's 100% number 1.
Yeah, I mean,
almost to me, the dream match as far as tag team matches, Usos and Briscoes, to me, would have been an incredible feud.
Agreed.
Brothers versus brothers.
Tell me.
Well, first time I saw Briscoe, I remember was for CZW Best of the Best, the original tournament they had back in 2001. And it was actually the two Briscoes against Sick Nick Mondo. And Nick Mondo was my favorite at the time. So I watched the match for him. I saw these guys. They had mentioned that Mark was still underage and was wrestling. And I was blown away by how good these guys were and that they were brothers. Obviously, they worked really well together. And I didn't hear anything else about them until the Ring of Honor 2nd anniversary. And they had a match against each other. And I remember being so blown away by all that they encompassed in the match. I remember actually saying to myself, I literally think this is one of the perfect wrestling matches I had seen at that point in my wrestling journey. So that always stuck out to me. So Briscoe's always had that place in my heart. As far as indie wrestling goes, it was one of the first tag teams that I really connected with, and just how good they were with how young they were as well.
Yeah, no, that's
And, you know,
the brother collaboration thing was something that threw me as well. I'm one of you guys. Like I'm like you guys. I can't necessarily pinpoint when the first time I seen Jay, let alone Mark. I do remember the very first time though. I did hear. I want to say it was not Rick Bonnie. One of the old, maybe Kevin Kelly. I'm trying to remember one of the old Ring of Honor commentators screaming "Sauceberry Chicken." I just popped ever since, and I always wanted to follow these guys a little bit better. The one time for sure I want to say they stuck out was I want to say at Wrestle Kingdom where it was them and what War Machine and
War
somebody else.
Machine and man, I forget who the other team was, but I know it's
maybe
exactly
Guerrillas
which
of
match you're talking
Destiny.
about.
But yeah,
Might have been.
I remember seeing that one, and first off, that was originally that's when I was probably the biggest fan of like War Machine because they had just, I don't want to say they just come on the scene, but they had exploded. They had become way more popular. They had hit somewhere probably a PWG show or something like that, and I was like, I'm bound and determined to watch these guys. When I heard the Briscoes, I was like, first off, this is the coolest fucking theme I've ever heard, like ever. Okay, I don't give a shit. This thing's awesome. But then they're in there and then they're doing great work. And I was just like, okay, well, they're super, like, they're like a really well-oiled machine. And my immediate guess was, I was like, oh, crap, they got to be the sons of Gerald Briscoe, right? Like, because, they're the Briscoes. No, motherfucker. I was completely wrong. And thank God for that one. And it, to me, as you guys have beautifully pointed out, they're the one team that I think if they would have gone to the E, things would have been way different. Things would have looked way different. Not only for them, but for just the fucking E's tag division in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm also
they
glad
did try
that
to
they
sign
didn't
him
go.
though.
What was
they
that?
did.
Agreed. They did try to sign him. Fuck, what was it? 2014, I think it was, when they were doing the sweep. They tried to sign him with Sammy and Kevin, and they turned it down.
There were a couple times actually they tried.
Yeah, they've said from day one that they were ROH forever, and I think the only time they were going to break that is with AEW when ROH was kind of being bought out and everything like that. But yeah, they ended up sticking with ROH, and they ended up having deals with them, and they went out as ROH. He went out at least as an ROH champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's who they are. They're like they were the very best Ring of Honor champion.
They are
the Undertaker of Ring of Honor.
Absolutely.
They were the Undertaker of Ring of Honor.
They were the fucking heart and soul of Ring of Honor, hands down, no questions asked. And it's
let's see. I mean, he obviously they were inducted in the 2022 Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. Jay Briscoe. I mean, let's see. They won the Honor Rumble. They were 13-time tag team champions. Him and his brother Mark. They were one-time six-man tag champs with I want to say Bully Ray. Yeah, that's right. And he's a two-time Ring of Honor World Champion. And we know, and just for that alone, the Ring of Honor World Championship, multiple reigns as Ring of Honor World Champion is rare. You know what I mean? You got one that's like, all right, cool. There's a good handful of dudes got one. There's not many of them that got two, and there's only one that got three. So, but again, as you guys said, he's a lifer. He oozes Ring of Honor.
You look at some of the world champions today that are in that 13 time world champions, and they're legendary names. And that's going to reign the same feeling when you talk about the Briscoes and you say 13-time tag team champion. That oozes history with them. And the best, when you talk about some of the best people, those are one of the best. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's,
to me, like, I think of people like Arn and Tully. Like, I think of, like, I'm not knocking the Bucks. I'm talking like when you think, because they're still active. Yeah. I mean, guys like, Dudley's, Hardys, Arn and Tully, Demolition, LOD, the Briscoes.
Are up
are
there.
on that fucking list. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In their own
like
right. for sure.
honestly, I think the Briscoes could have worked with fucking anybody and made them look like $1 million.
It's crazy to think that they're, both of them are under 40 years old too. So, I mean, who knows what could have happened in the next 10 years?
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
that's
they've
crazy.
already solidified themselves as a Hall of Fame tag team.
One point
Yeah, they
that I think
easily.
that needs to be made, all the brother tag teams that have, feuded with each other, it doesn't always work.
No.
And sometimes but the two matches that they had, the matches they had with each other were incredible. The cinematic match on the farm,
On the farm, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
incredible.
wild.
The match they had for the Ring of Honor World Title, was incredible. Like the stories that they told. Anytime that they would upload one of their promos to the Ring of Honor YouTube channel, like
Man,
you were posting them all throughout the day in RWT,
I was going nuts.
like incredible work, like because they knew how to do it. Like there will never be another tag team like the Briscoes.
I really think about that farm match though, because like this is something these guys have probably grew up doing. They got into the business at 18 years old. How cool to have it full circle come where you get to wrestle at home and get paid for it. Like
Right.
that's the dream right there.
Wake up late for work, and all you got to do is go to your backyard.
Right.
Yeah,
My ring in the garage.
Love it.
feed the chickens, then have your match, and then feed the chickens again.
Right. But just like you said, bringing up the promos too. I remember a lot of the promos from that farm match. Going back and watching and just kind of being enamored with how these guys ran a promo. Especially with the ones in the last couple matches that they had. They're literally doing this off their phone. I mean, no special camera, no special gimmick, no nothing. You see Jay, backing up from the screen. All right, go, and he just goes to 10 right away. Every single time, never missed once.
You'll see Mark, chowing down on some Oreos or some shit like that.
Yeah, Mark's always going to be eating in the promos too. I actually went back to watch a couple of old promos today, and one that I came across was a really old one from about 10, probably 12 years ago now. They were fighting Davey Richards and Kyle O'Reilly for the ROH tag titles, and it's probably one of Jade and Mark's most iconic lines. Terry Funk, don't need a mouthpiece. Bruce Brody, don't need a mouthpiece. The whole premise of the thing was, these MMA guys coming in here with their mouthpieces, doing their little kicks, getting focused. Just to see how real the Briscoes were. Like, I think that's what people connect with them the most, because it's relatable to a lot of the average person, I guess.
They were tough guys, legit.
Yeah, legit
Tough guys. Yeah.
That's why a lot of people fuck with FTR too, and they were similar hand in hand. And I think that's why it hit them so hard, is because they were like, for one, they put out 3 in a row bangers.
Oh yeah.
And these
3
guys
match of the year candidates.
They probably got a bond like this after 3. And
It's like that.
You're talking 4 tough guys.
Yeah, blue collar love right there. Yeah.
Just in the last couple of years, not just the FTR, but with Second Gear Crew.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of these matches here in GCW. Those Second Gear Crew matches were just, wild.
They bonded. Yeah. I would say these last 3 years that they've had, going 2020, 2021, 2022, has been. We've already known how good they were, but they went in and absolutely. If you didn't have a thought in your head that the Briscoes were that good, these guys shut you the fuck up.
Yeah.
Period. These guys went to House of Glory, GCW, TNA, ROH. They went everywhere, and we're putting on banger after banger after banger after banger after banger nonstop, and we're gonna show how good we are. And that's what they did, and they just literally went out, fucking on top.
Yeah.
And I think that's tough because I don't think on top right where they were was on top to them. I think they were ready to give us more to show we're on top.
Oh yeah.
When we were already like, you're on top, and they're like, nah, fuck, no, we're not. We're over. We're trying to get here. We're here. You know what I mean? They were trying to go even farther.
Yeah.
How good they were, and I just don't think, at least in their eyes, that they were ready to just be done. You know,
No.
what I mean? or even take a pause for a couple of months. They were ready to keep going ham at this.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you think that they're done, it's like, we ain't done yet.
I didn't think they could pull 3 off with FTR, and it was like, oh, 5 and a quarter, 6, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, banger,
It's like
banger.
they don't fucking stop.
No.
The best promo, I will say that at least it's my personal favorite. It was during the build up to Mark versus Jay, the first one. And it's entitled Us Against the World.
Yeah.
And like the emotion that Jay was able to put in his promos and then you see the video that he posted on his personal Twitter of him, practicing, the cheers with his daughter. Like the fact that, you see who he really, you see him as Jay Briscoe, the wrestler. And then you see Jamin Pugh, the man, the father, the husband, the brother. Like, he was that damn good. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
Like, there aren't a lot of people like that believe in their gimmick and themselves to such a degree. And I think that's something that is really lacking and not just in WWE, but in wrestling in general. That, you have guys who, they play their gimmick, it's okay, and this and that, but you got the ones that believe who they are. Guys like the Briscoes, guys like Kenny, like Roman, Mox. Very few guys are that level.
I agree.
Like if I'm Shawn Michaels in the Performance Center and I'm the guys down there, I'm showing some of the WWE guys, but I'm showing them fucking Briscoe's promos.
Yeah.
And I'm saying study it.
Oh yeah.
To jump on that note, the thing that I think about the Briscoes that I can add about them was that they're kayfabe. Like, I could show them to a casual fan or even a non-wrestling fan, and 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, okay, like, that looks legit. They look legitimate while being the indie darlings, which a lot of indie wrestlers get a rap of either not looking realistic or threatening us. Briscoes look like they will kick your ass. They look like your neighbors who got too drunk and have been in prison for too long, and you're like, I am legit scared of these guys.
The real
If
country rednecks.
They're going to do something wild. And that's what makes their matches interesting. Like, I'm seeing my crazy ass neighbors against my other crazy ass neighbors, and they both know how to fight. This is about to be real wild.
But that's what made them so special, is they looked like they looked like us. You know what I mean? Just regular ass guys, and they were like, oh shit, like this is a next door neighbor looking ass, be like country farmer looking ass, and all of a sudden you get in the ring and you're like, these guys can fucking go. Like, they can wrestle. It's like, dude, they're gonna kick your ass. Like, I don't mean fake. They're gonna kick your fucking ass right now.
They look like those guys that you pull into the parking lot. They pull in the pickup truck a couple spots down from you, and you're thinking, lock the door.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
That's the immediate reaction you get with them. They are the stereotypical country. What was I going to say? They're those guys that you would see in 4-H all the time, and then by high school you were, holy fuck, don't piss them off.
Yeah. And to kind of piggyback off of that, like 100% of everybody that shared those stories shared the same sentiments that we just did, but said they were the absolute complete opposite.
Mhm.
Right.
And how could you not? You know,
Like it's just a testament to who they were and the fact that they loved professional wrestling. Like it wasn't a stepping stone to get into movies or to get into the next thing. It was this.
So
And
you could tell that too because they didn't take the $1 million contracts from the WWE.
Right.
They were like, "Fuck that! We want to go wrestle and be the best out here. We don't need to go there." They weren't
there
about
was a
that.
story that Jay told,
You were
and
here
it's
for
one of my fucking favorite stories. That years ago, I think it was like maybe 2009 or 10. Like I think it was like right around the time when he was world champion, and they went through. They had a WWE tryout, and they had agreed to terms, but Vince pulled the contract because they don't look like WWE stars.
Yeah, we've heard that line before.
And
A
then
million times.
what I love is that they took that shit fucking personally.
As they
I thought,
should.
okay, you know
as
what?
they should.
Okay. And then they went out and they became even better than they already were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
they
And
absolutely did.
that Triple H would have, if he could have, he would have fucking signed them in a goddamn
tried.
heartbeat.
Yeah.
He tried. He tried a couple
And
times. They
it
just
kills
didn't
him.
have interest.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Regardless
didn't he
of
try?
Vince, there's just no interest in them. They weren't one of those people going, "Oh my god, if I go here, I can make $1 million." They were like, "Oh, I can go do the indie thing and go to ROH and like, oh, I can make probably like $200,000 a year, and I can have all this time with my family." Because he's a family guy. He doesn't give a fuck about touring 6 days a week and being in the movies and being on the big giant posters. They were like, "No, I can make like 200 grand a year, and me and my brother can go wrestle wherever we want. Take
And still
time
run the
off,
family
and
farm.
then
Yes.
and run the family farm, have time with our kids. The fuck you need to go do all that stuff. WWE's touring 300 days a year. He's like, "No, we're doing this like 80 days a year."
He's like,
kinda
nah,
thing.
you see, I got these chickens I got to take care of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Exactly.
He has 3 kids.
Yeah.
And to me, not having kids, I can't really say. That to me is the hardest part. Not wrestling aside, it's 2 girls that I know he's got a son too, but it's 2 little girls that aren't gonna have their dad be there. If they get married, not gonna be able to walk them down the aisle, and a son who isn't gonna be able to make his dad proud. It's not gonna be able to have his dad say, "I'm proud of you." And I will tell you, and Rob, I know you're in there as well. Harold, you and I haven't talked, so I don't know your situation. But as a son, when your dad when your dad passes, to not be able to hear that your father say, "I'm proud of you," like that, for me, I can't speak for all of you, but to not be able to hear that hurts on such a different level. So I know what his son's going to go through. And the saving grace with all that, he's still got badass Uncle Mark.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, speaking of Mark, unfortunately, his birthday is marred forever by the memory of his brother passing. Like, that's going to be rough for Mark. And, our thoughts are with him,
Absolutely.
during this time, and it's
Can't imagine.
going to be rough.
The kids, everything, man. It's you got kids in serious condition right now. I don't even know. We have no idea who the other person was in the car that did pass away. They did mention 2 seriously injured. And it
was the other driver.
Okay, so that was the other driver then. Okay, so then the other 2 people, one being I'm imagining is his daughter. I don't know who the second one is.
His other daughter.
His other
Was
daughter.
it both? Was it both daughters?
Both daughters.
Both
Oh,
daughters.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, and from what I've read, it looks like one of them's fighting to possibly be able to walk again,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
terrible. So, yeah, no, we're all hoping for the best on this one because this is a disaster. Like this
That-
whole thing,
I remember.
way worse than we all anticipated.
Yeah.
Jericho
Yeah.
tweeted that, and it's 100% right. This is way worse than anybody could think of.
Like this is like worse. Can for his wife, I feel like this is a woman who just lost her husband.
Yeah.
Her partner, the man that she thought she was gonna grow old with.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad enough. That's fucking bad enough. Then
The daughter's in the mix.
what I heard, the one
Terrible.
kid is banged up, but it's going to be okay. The other kid, may never walk again. Like all of that compounded, like
How can you even think? How are you going to process the death of your soulmate or your spouse while still trying to maintain your strength for your child?
That's
Yeah.
the worst
Yeah.
part.
Right.
Own life. That's wild, man.
You gotta keep your composure while you're watching your other child go down. But we don't know. None of us know what's going on. I mean, you as a mom have to sit there and go, what the fuck? Like the whole world is just spinning
Is
because
walking.
you're
Yeah,
like,
dude.
my husband's dead and my daughter's in front of me, helpless. I can't do anything.
and you still have to be a parent to your son.
And you still
Yeah.
have other children that you have to go.
Responsibility.
I gotta go be mom again. You know what I mean? Not just the mom at the hospital that has to be strong, but the mom at home that has to be strong again.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, you got everybody picking up the phone and calling you. And I mean, everyone calling is calling for the right reasons and everything. But
Yeah, but
that's
still a lot.
that is
Still.
so
A lot of
much to
people wanna
take
do.
in.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
And again, not to put my own spin on things, but from my experience, like when my father passed, I will tell you, like, there's only so many times that you can tell the story and talk about it before you just you put your hands up and literally you just say, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. And the other side of it is that I also got to feel bad for their dad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Papa Briscoe, who
Papa Briscoe.
we've seen him in the promos. We've seen him. He's as much a character in that as I mean, here's a guy
He's
who
awesome.
also lost his son.
You see where Mark and Jay got it from. It's,
Oh, yeah.
It's all Papa, man.
In another life, that dude would have been a wrestler too.
Oh, 100%.
And I got to imagine that he's probably helping out Jay's wife, and Mark's there too.
Yeah.
Because like you feel so fucking horrible, like, and the part to me that really kind of I thought was really touching was to see the tweet that Triple H had sent out. Because to me, I can't imagine somebody like a Vince would have done that, but Triple H is a guy who traveled the roads, who took the bumps, had the injuries, the pain. He understands what it means. Like you always hear wrestlers say, it's a brotherhood. It doesn't matter if you've never worked with somebody or you've been there. You lace up a pair of boots and whatever happens next, it's an absolute tragedy. But what a body of work that Jay leaves behind.
Yeah. You're telling me, dude. Copious amounts of championships, just a name recognition alone. You hear the theme and you immediately think of them. I really I don't want to, and I know this is a sad topic. This is one of those things where it's gonna hit home, and we're just I don't want to feel like we're dragging, so I kind of want to pick up the love a little bit. I know it's going to be rough for the Briscoes, the entire family, from the children to everyone in between. But Mark is still a capable wrestler. He's a guy who
absolutely.
we've seen do singles work before.
Highly underrated as a single star.
Is it time for the kid to get paid and get put on AEW television now?
No, I'm going to tell you. Next Ring of Honor pay-per-view is right before Mania. It's what? Supercard of Honor is the name of it, right?
See? TSK will be
I'm going to say it right now. And if there's
there.
ever a time to fucking pull the trigger, it's now.
Now.
Claudio's going to need a fucking opponent. And I'm telling you,
hell of a build
Claudio
build it now.
versus Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor World title. And you know, as much as I love Claudio, and I fucking do, Mark Briscoe needs to fucking go over. Clean. Middle of the ring. Hit the J Driller. You know, I know Mark's got his own finisher. Not anymore.
No, I'm with you.
It's going to be the J Driller.
And that's the thing that I'm loving, because you don't have to have him run in, beat his ass. You don't have to have him call him out and be an asshole. You can literally have Mark Briscoe show up next Wednesday night and just call Claudia out and say, look, like, my brother died. And this is the one thing I have to do to prove that, you know, so that way my brother can, you know, be proud of me, or whatever kind of thing he wants to, you know, spin it with. But you could simply just go out there and talk, and I think that would just... Well, that could work on its own. You know, easily allow them to build towards the March, and there's an opportunity for Mark to finally win the big one, and at the same time, you know, it is a absolute tribute to his brother.
Sure.
If there was ever a fucking time, it's now.
Yeah. Harold said it.
No other way around it. Like, I think that is the perfect idea. It's the perfect time. The only thing that I can think that would keep this from happening is the fact that this is such a raw issue.
Yeah.
It's
mind is that.
It's not going to happen anytime soon. My guess is February-ish, mid-February. He's going to go. How I'm kind of envisioning this, I think he should finally make his debut on Dynamite. It comes out. Talking with Tony, you know, everyone's giving him the love and everything. He's got the ROH titles, and he turns them into Tony and says, I can't defend these anymore, but there is one title I can go after, and it's the world title. And he's like, I got to do this for my brother. Going off of what Mo said. I think that's easy way to plan it in or put it in, because they are still the champions, the ROH champions. So one way or another, you have to give that up. But there's obviously the ending to that is you get the world title out of it. And I think that's a positive out of the whole thing.
And it doesn't need to be a super long reign. It can be, you know, 30-day or whatever.
So the next pay-per-view, which is usually 3 months later.
Yeah. Easily.
So the next one's in July, I think.
There you go.
You know, I think the time to do it is now. You know, it's, you know, when something, you hate to, you know, say, oh, he's just, you know, thinking back to a couple years back when the American Dream Dusty Rhodes had passed. The time to put the WWE title on Goldust / Dustin Rhodes was right then. That was the time then for him. I am telling you, this is the way, and you could do it the way that Kyle said, you know, where he turns in the belt. Or, you know, you could have Claudio, say you book Claudio versus, let's say you do a number one contenders match, Jericho versus whoever, Action Andretti or whoever, it doesn't really matter. Jericho loses, flips his shit, attacks the guy, you do a kayfabe injury, and you know you have Tony Khan say, Jericho, you thought you were going to get into the title match like this? No. And then you have I know Tony doesn't like being an on-screen authority role, but you have him come out, you have him say, Claudio, unfortunately, your guy's not cleared to wrestle you at the pay-per-view. However, I found you a suitable replacement.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And then at that moment, you don't have him use, you don't have Mark use his Ring of Honor theme. You have him use the Briscoes theme. And I am telling you, on Dynamite, when the crowd hears "Reach for the Sky,
boy.
the pop, it will be, I will say, equal to the pop that we heard last week when Adam Cole came back.
Yeah, I think so.
Back when MJF came back.
Yeah, for sure.
Mark doesn't even have to say anything.
No,
Doesn't even have to say a fucking word. Just comes down into the ring, looks at Claudio, looks at the belt, just nods his head, goes to the back, and that's your segment.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all you need.
Like I said, we could fantasy book this thing three different ways from Sunday, but that would be an entire whole other show, which, that's not a bad one. Maybe
Tony's watching. Tony's listening to
Tony's
us.
always watching, so for as far as we know, he's booking it as we speak. That is for Jay. Cheers to you, brother, man. We miss you already. Obviously, we'll hit some plugs, and then we'll get on out of here. Kyle, hit him with the donuts move.
Super Kicks and Flips pod coming soon.
Okay, so no donuts. Okay, gotcha. Rob.
Bye, buddy.
Come on, the donuts look delicious, you motherfucker.
The donuts do look fantastic.
Fantastico. Hook your boy up with a cinnamon roll one time. Anyway, Rob, what's happening with the death metal scene?
You got Grave to Fire. All our socials, Linktree/Grave to Fire, Consuming Fire. Linktree/Consuming Fire. All my socials, if you want to talk to your boy, Linktree/ Hey, I'm Rob.
Yeah, Rob. There it is. Let's go. Where's the Too Sweet Click Adventures hitting this time? Tell me.
I need to hear them because I'm coming out there.
Tell me where
we got a
next.
couple places up our sleeve, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Hit us at Too Sweet Click Adventures, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If you like food, travel, attractions, events, hit us up. Too Sweet Click Adventures.
Come get you a bar. DC, as I say each and every show, the countdown continues. Promo Mania is literally right around the corner. The Demoness is not in your sights as of right now. Your sights is to put that thing around your waist as you have already pre-claimed it and want to defend it in the main event, which I can't not wait. You have any word?
It's already mine.
It's
already mine.
It's already yours. Do you have any charming words for your opponent for was it 2 weeks away?
What's he? They call themselves modern day.
We are the
numbnuts, modern day slapnuts.
Come on, Billy.
I'll say this to my esteemed opponent. Listen here, slapnuts.
Slappies.
Clock is ticking. Shine it up real nice. Keep it warm.
TikTok, as the kids say, or as the app they use, whatever it is you want to call it, it is what it is. So that is it for the TSK. We're going to get on out of here. We hope you guys go back and enjoy some Jay Briscoe, some Briscoe stuff in general. Enjoy it. Hope and pray for this fantasy booking.
Let's go.
Tell your people you love them.
Absolutely.
Tell your people you love them.
100%.
Do not forget to hug your loved ones. You never know when it ends. Too sweet them one time. May you rest in paradise, Jay Briscoe. We love you.
Love you, Jay.
Condolences.